Welcome back to WION World is One. You're watching Speed News with me, Vidur Kathuria. Let's get started. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has said that the father and son duo behind shooting at the Bondi beach were driven by Islamic State ideology. Australian police say a vehicle linked to the father and son duo involved in the Bondi beach incident contained 2 homemade Islamic State flags and improvised explosive devices. New South Wales Police Commissioner confirmed the details, adding that investigations are ongoing into why the father and son travelled to the Philippines a month before carrying out the mass shooting at Bondi Beach. The US military has struck 3 vessels in the Eastern Pacific, alleging that they were engaged in narco trafficking. At least 8 people have died in these strikes, according to military intelligence. Confirmed that the vessels were transiting along known narco trafficking routes in the Eastern Pacific. The strikes were conducted on the orders of Secretary of War Pete Hegseth as part of the Operation Southern Spear. US military claimed that 3 vessels were operated by designated terrorist organizations. Colombian President Gustavo Petro has criticized the United States military strategy in the Caribbean, accusing Washington of acting arbitrarily and killing civilians. Speaking at a promotion ceremony for National Police Cadets, Petro accused US President Donald Trump of arrogance and said it should seek out of Colombia's advice if it wishes to tackle drug trafficking. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has condemned the UN Human Rights Office amid escalating tensions with the United States, stating that the UN's criminal, judicial, and human rights systems are deteriorating. He highlighted a recent piracy incident where armed assailants attacked a private ship carrying Venezuelan oil, a strike he says the United States publicly claimed responsibility for. 5 days later, the crew remains missing. Maduro questioned their fate, asking whether they were killed, thrown into the sea, or tortured. US President Donald Trump has announced that he will sign an executive order formally classifying fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. Speaking at the White House, Trump called the move historic. He has previously cited fentanyl trafficking as a reason for imposing tariffs on Mexico, as well as Canada and China. US President Donald Trump has filed a defamation lawsuit against the BBC in a Miami federal court, seeking up to $10 billion in damages. The complaint claims the British broadcaster produced a false and malicious portrayal of Trump in a Panorama documentary aired just a week before the 2024 election. Trump alleges the program was part of a brazen attempt to interfere with the election and harm his campaign. Donald Trump has said that he wants his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping to consider releasing Jimmy Lai. This as he voiced his sadness over the Hong Kong media mogul's conviction. Trump met with Xi in October in South Korea, where he is believed to have erased Lai's case. Lai was found guilty on all 3 charges in his national security trial on Monday. The 78-year-old, who pleaded not guilty, faces up to life in prison when he is sentenced. He can appeal against the convictions. Reporting his team's progress in Berlin, the US president has stated that an agreement aimed to end Russia's war in Ukraine is closer than ever. Trump's remarks come at a White House event after he called into a dinner in Berlin at which US envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner were holding talks with Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky and European leaders. Trump reiterated that this peace deal between Russia and Ukraine comes after he solved 8 wars. European leaders say they are considering a European-led multinational force backed by US support to help enforce any future peace agreement in Ukraine. In a joint statement issued in Berlin, leaders said the force would form part of strong security guarantees aimed at ensuring Russia does not violate a deal to end the war. The proposal was discussed as European leaders met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to underline continued support for Ukraine's security. Ukraine Security Service says it has carried out a special operation targeting Russia's navy in the Black Sea. The SBU released video it claims shows an underwater drone striking a Russian Kilo-class submarine. Ukrainian officials say the attack left the submarine critically damaged and no longer operational. A ceremony was held at the headquarters of United Nations Peacekeeping Force in Sudan for 6 peacekeepers killed in a drone strike. The strike hit the peacekeeping logistics base on Saturday in the city of Kadugli in the central region of Kordofan. Four people have been charged in Southern California over what authorities say was a disrupted bomb plot targeting multiple locations, including U.S. immigration agents and their vehicles. Federal prosecutors allege the suspects planned coordinated attacks on large logistics facilities similar to Amazon distribution centers on New Year's Eve. The defendants face charges of conspiracy and possession of an unregistered destructive device. Officials say the group was linked to an anti-government organization known as the Turtle Island Liberation Front. No defense attorneys were immediately identified. The United States and Paraguay have signed a new security agreement aimed at strengthening military cooperation, intelligence sharing, and joint responses to humanitarian emergencies. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said Paraguay is one of Washington's strongest regional allies and a key partner in confronting shared threats. Speaking at the signing in Washington, Rubio highlighted the danger posed by transnational criminal and terrorist networks operating across the hemisphere. Paraguayan Foreign Minister joined Rubio for the signing of the Status of Forces Agreement. European Union and Lebanese officials held high-level talks in Brussels, reaffirming their partnership as Lebanon faces mounting political, economic, and security pressures. The EU-Lebanon Association Council meeting reviewed ties under the existing agreement, with EU officials stressing continued support for Lebanon's state institutions. European Commissioner underlined the importance of Lebanon's stability to the wider Eastern Mediterranean while urging long-delayed reforms. Talks also covered regional tensions and the protection of civilians. A Cessna Citation 3 private jet has crashed in central Mexico's Toluca, killing at least 7 people. The aircraft, traveling from Acapulco to Toluca, carried 8 passengers and 2 crew members. Officials confirmed the post-crash fire has been contained, with debris removal and cooling operations ongoing, and urged the public to stay away from the site. The cause of the accident is under investigation. Tensions boiled over in Mexico City's Congress as female lawmakers from opposing parties engaged in a physical fight on live cameras. The clash began when women from the right-wing National Action Party protested a rule allegedly broken by the leftist Morena party, which controls the legislature. The dispute centered on reforms to the city's Transparency Oversight Agency. Footage shows at least 5 lawmakers slapping, elbowing, and pulling each other's hair as Morena members tried to remove the PAN deputies from the podium. Thousands gathered in Bratislava to protest the government's plans to abolish the Whistleblower Protection Office and amend the criminal code. Moves critics say weaken the rule of law. Demonstrators shouted "Enough of the mafia" and held signs asking, "Are we supposed to have children in a mafia country?" The protest reflects growing public concern over governance in this EU member state. Sukamaju hamlet in Indonesia's Aceh province was once inhabited by dozens of families who earned their living through palm farming and livestock rearing. Following deadly floods and landslides, much of the village has been destroyed with only mud, uprooted trees and debris remaining. France is on track for one of its hottest years on record. This is according to a provisional assessment from National Weather Agency Meteo France. Officials say 2025 is expected to rank alongside 2022, 2023 and 2024, with average temperatures running about 1 degree Celsius above normal. The weather agency says climate change is driving the continued rise in temperatures, reinforcing a pattern of increasingly warm years across the country. In the Moroccan coastal city of Safi, residents were seen clearing mud from streets after deadly floods. Authorities say overnight heavy rain and flash floods killed at least 37 people, flooded around 70 homes and businesses, and swept away 10 vehicles. The Interior Ministry added that 14 people have been hospitalized. Parts of British Columbia are facing heightened flood risks as heavy rainfall and snowmelt have caused rivers to rise rapidly. Canada's Environment Department has issued orange-level rainfall warnings for areas including Abbotsford, Chilliwack and the Skagit Valley. Officials warn that higher elevations could see up to 80 millimeters of rain, raising concerns about potential flooding. OpenAI has confirmed that it has appointed Albert Lee, Senior Director of Corporate Development at Google, as its Vice President of Corporate Development. Lee will start his role at OpenAI on Tuesday and report to Finance Chief Sarah Friar. OpenAI spokesperson told Reuters that the goal of bringing Lee on board is to ensure we have a senior leader with broad visibility across the company who is empowered to move quickly. At Google, Lee had been leading corporate development for Google Cloud and DeepMind and the strategy and scouting team. South Korea's nominee to head the Broadcast and Media Commission has said he will pursue restrictions on social media use for teenagers, calling it a priority to protect young people. He told the parliament that safeguarding a safe and orderly communication environment is central to the Commission's role and said age-based limits similar to Australia's recent ban for under-16s should be considered. Australia this month became the first country to ban social media for children under 16 as global concerns grow over online safety and youth mental health. According to a report by Financial Times, the United States has suspended a technology deal it struck with Britain earlier this year, which was intended to boost ties in artificial intelligence, quantum computing and civil nuclear energy. According to this report, British officials confirmed that the US suspended the deal last week, adding that US President Donald Trump's administration was pushing for Britain's concessions in areas of trade outside the tech partnership. The report further stated that US officials were becoming increasingly frustrated with Britain's lack of willingness to address so-called non-tariff barriers. Asian markets fell across the board on Tuesday, tracking losses on Wall Street as investors continued to pull back from US artificial intelligence stocks. Shares of major AI players like Oracle, Broadcom, and Microsoft declined, weighing on global sentiment. South Korea led regional losses for a second straight session, with the Kospi down nearly 1.8% and the Kosdaq sliding over 2%. Japan's Nikkei and Topix also fell, pressured by weaker economic data. Hong Kong and mainland China closed lower, while Australia reversed early gains to finish modestly down. Oil prices moved lower in early trade, extending losses as optimism grew around possible Russia-Ukraine peace talks that could ease sanctions on Moscow. Crude slipped to just above $60 a barrel, adding pressure, and weak economic data from China showed slowing factory output and retail sales, which is raising concerns over global oil demand. The softer outlook offset supply worries, including a recent US seizure of a Venezuelan oil tanker. The US dollar slipped to nearly a two-month low in early Asian trading as investors waited for a batch of economic data, including the delayed US jobs report for October and November. The dollar index eased about 0.2%, while markets priced in strong odds the Federal Reserve will hold rates later this month. Attention is also on global central banks, with the Bank of Japan expected to raise rates and the Bank of England seen cutting. Elsewhere, the euro and pound were steady and Asian currencies edged higher. Players from both Australia and England will wear black armbands during the third Ashes Test at Adelaide Oval. This will be in tribute to the victims of Sunday's terror attack at Sydney's Bondi Beach. Flags at the Adelaide Oval will be flown at half-mast, and a moment's silence will also be held before the national anthems on Wednesday before of the start of play of the third Test. The Australian folk singer John Williamson will also perform his song True Blue as a tribute to the victims of the shooting. Australia captain Pat Cummins, who is returning to the side from an injury, said that he had been horrified to learn of the attacks on Sunday. Eight-time Ballon d'Or winner Lionel Messi wrapped up his India tour in New Delhi. Just like at his previous stops, Messi was accompanied by his Inter Miami teammates Luis Suarez and Rodrigo de Paul, as the trio enthralled the packed Arun Jaitley Stadium. The Argentine World Cup winning captain took a lap of honour and thanked supporters for their love and energy before being presented with a T20 World Cup match ticket and a Team India cricket jersey by ICC Chief Jay Shah. The 2026 IPL mini auction will take place today. All 10 franchises will gather on Tuesday for the bidding war as they look to fill a total of 77 available slots. A total of 359 players will go under the hammer in Abu Dhabi. Now let's turn our attention to the players who could spark a bidding war. At the top of the list is Australian all-rounder Cameron Green, who has set his base price for 2 crore Indian rupees, which is around $220,000. Kolkata Knight Riders are expected to go all out for Green. Acclaimed Iranian filmmaker Jafar Panahi and other prominent civil society activists have issued a joint call demanding the immediate and unconditional release of Nobel Peace Prize laureate Narges Mohammadi. Mohammadi was detained last Friday following her attendance at a memorial ceremony in Mashhad. The foundation released a statement saying the activist was violently arrested. Panahi and his fellow signatories condemned the event as a stark reflection of the waning state of freedom and security in Iran. On Hollywood Boulevard, Rob Reiner's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame became an impromptu memorial with bouquets and notes left by admirers. Reiner and his wife were found dead at their Brentwood home. While authorities are investigating, tributes have poured in for the director. At the gathering, fans honored his cinematic legacy.
We made a movie together some years ago, and that kind of helped him.
Daytime television is mourning the loss of a legend. Anthony Geary, the 8-time Daytime Emmy winner, best known for his iconic nearly 40-year role as Luke Spencer on General Hospital, has died at the age of 78. Geary passed away in the Netherlands, where he lived in retirement. According to a statement from his husband, Claudio Gama, the actor died from complications following a scheduled surgical operation.